Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Chit-Chat Cafe on a Saturday morning. Oh, I've lost Maria. I think her internet's just gone. Typical that, isn't it? We've been chatting away. Oh, here she comes. She's back.
Hi. Hi.
I think you're having some internet problems, but hopefully you're going to be all right. You're a little bit frozen on the main screen. Let me just bring you out.
Okay.
And back in again. Okay, well, we'll just go with it.
Okay, let's chat.
It was working fine just now. Yeah, but it's frozen you on the live page, but I can see you in my little box, and you look fine. That's not happened to me before. I'm gonna take you off and back on again. It's still doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we need to go in and out. I can't go in and out.
You could always try. Yeah, you could try leaving, reload, and come back in, and I'll do the introductions.
All right, Sarah.
You want to try that? Well, welcome everyone. I will be joined with Maria, who is doing her course next Saturday. It starts. It's a 5-week course in the power of I. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. Let's see if I can bring her back in.
Hello.
Hey, now it's working.
Working. Cool.
I can see there's a few people out there watching, so do drop us a hello in the chat, and obviously asking questions as normal. It's a lonely stage up here, so it'd be nice to know who's out there watching in the world of cyber.
Good morning, everyone.
So I'm Sarah Z. Haskett, and I'm here with Maria. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit, Maria?
Okay, so my name's Maria Ganderton, and I'm of Refined Lives, which I started about 6 years ago now. Time's flying. And I specialise in self-esteem, motivation and purpose.
Nice. So how did you get into the work that you do?
So my life 12 years ago was very, very different. And from the age of, I can't remember a year prior to that without some sort of depression or anxiety. And I think it was 2009, I was offered the opportunity to take a self-esteem course.
Okay.
A self-esteem course, which was funded down here. A wonderful woman called Carrie Walden, who was actually a community warden at the time, had done the program herself, and she picked me out, and 5 of us took the course, 6 of us took the course, and turned my life around.
Amazing.
Absolutely turned my life around.
And that inspired you to then help others.
So I went on from there to train to deliver the course, which was the power of self-esteem, and PIPS. Can I just say PIPS in Paulsgrove? So Power of People Supporters still run the course. Not at the moment, unfortunately, because of COVID, but we've run it now for over 10 years, free to any resident in Paulsgrove.
Amazing.
So we obtained funding. So at the last count, it was over 150 residents in Paulsgrove had taken it, and some Portsmouth residents that had been funded in to take it.
What a fantastic opportunity.
It's seriously life changing. So that with that came a license fees, and so after I started I delivered a couple, and I took other trainings, and I took myself out to do coaching weekends and things. I realised that there was other aspects that I wanted to introduce. So, and I was then being restrained, if you like, by the license that I needed. So what I decided to do was to start writing my own little workshops.
Yeah, cool.
And so I started writing those, and then I've written a few courses, and then this one, The Power of I, which I've written specifically for this.
And you've had a lot of interest in your course. There's a lot of people have shown an interest. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit, sort of a brief outline of how the course will run. What do people want? Should expect. You were mentioning earlier about this is a course that builds from one session to the next. So people will be invited to commit to this as a process that they're going through together in the group.
Yeah, so I see this as a 30-day program. So it's 5 sessions. So each session is a platform. Mm-hmm. And it's funny you should say in your wording, what should people expect? So in my first session, I'm looking at just that.
Okay.
And it is about that we have expectations of life and expectations of ourselves. And it's actually breaking that down. So over 5 sessions, we'll be breaking down those expectations that we put on ourselves and we hold life responsible for.
Yeah.
So in session 1, we will be literally looking at what we expect life to be, what we expect ourselves to be, and also, looking at how that holds us back and limits us. So I was in our chat prior to coming live on air. I was just saying that I work on focus to provision.
Sorry, Maria, just to interrupt you for a second. Your mic is just caught around your hand and it's giving a little bit of feedback when you move.
Okey-doke. Got it? Is that okay?
Better. Yes.
That's better. Sorry. I like my hand.
All this. You can move now, yeah.
I can move now. Yeah, so what I've experienced, so all my trainings and how I've written them is how I've transformed my life and what I've learned through my life. And one of the main things was that I would become focused. So if things didn't go well or life wasn't delivering me how I believed it should, my focus came onto that. So all my energy went into that.
Okay.
And what I noticed that was doing was, while I'm in that focused position, I'm not seeing all the opportunities and actually what's happening around me and what I'm about. So throughout this course, it will be lifting that focused vision up to peripheral vision.
Yeah.
So opening people's to possibilities and opportunities. And I think it's session 4, there's self-acknowledgement. Because each one of us is amazing, whether it means we've achieved getting out of bed in the morning or whether it means we've run a marathon. And one of my, throughout all my training is self-esteem, motivation and purpose, but that's backed up with nothing just happens. And the whole course you'd be taking ownership, which can be quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's also freeing, because if we're blaming our lives on life events and we sit but we don't own our part in that, we're not in a position to change it.
Yes. Yeah. So it's that kind of that sort of concept of saying, okay, well, I can make change here, but taking a view on your assets and the rewards that you get, the assets and the things that you can take forward, rather than looking at the problems and
they're your assets, personal to you. We're not talking about materialistic things. We're talking about the assets you've always had, the things that have always pulled you through, and we take them for granted. Every day we take ourselves for granted. Oh, I just got up, I just got dressed, I just went to work, I just paid the bills. No, you didn't. It took time, energy, effort, organisation, commitment, devotion, and it's about bringing that to your attention. So the whole course is about bringing yourself back to your consciousness.
So it sounds like it would be quite good for someone who often suffers with that sense of imposter syndrome. When you feel like you're doing something, but you perhaps shouldn't be because you're not really good enough. It sounds as though someone who's perhaps finding that they're thinking this way would really benefit from your course.
Definitely, and we all have imposter syndrome, and we also have projection. So if life's been a certain way for so long, that's what life is. And yeah, I get imposter syndrome. We all get imposter syndrome, and it's good to look at ourselves and go, actually, what am I consciously bringing forward here?
Yeah.
So it's kind of stop the winging it. Oh, I used to be a good winger. I used to wing stuff out of fear, because if I put in effort and I'd put in organisation, and then it didn't turn out how I'd projected or predicted it would, I'd get to call myself a failure, and I'd get to beat myself up a bit more.
Yeah. So like a safety behaviour, don't put much effort in, and
definitely.
then you can't say you failed because you didn't really try.
Well, the word I don't use, Sarah, is try.
Okay.
Try is, we tend to use, all of us tend to use the word try when we get an excuse clause out. Well, I tried. Well, I did try. Well, actually, if you do, you get to be accountable for that. Whereas try is kind of, well, I tried. Well, what did you do?
Yeah, so you're making it more behavioural.
Yeah, and it's more specific.
Something that's more tangible, and that you can say, well, actually, I did this.
Yeah. I could try and do a degree by the time I'm 60, but what am I putting in place to get there?
So we've got a question. Hi, Liz, out there on the chat, just asking a little bit more detail what I meant by imposter syndrome. So it's a very fancy word, actually, for something that's just a real common human experience. When we feel as though we don't have enough experience, or we're pretending to be better than we are, when actually we're very well equipped, and we're probably well trained and well equipped in whatever it is that we're doing. But I know for myself, I often feel this way, that perhaps I shouldn't be talking about my work this way, because am I really this good? It's that kind of thing. And I brought that up because it just sounded like what Maria was talking about really, really kind of linked to those concepts as a helpful way of managing it.
And on the other side of that is the self-fulfilling
prophecy.
Yeah. And it can be as simple as like going for a job and knowing, you look at the job spec and you're like, I can do all that, but someone else will be better. Someone else will, so we step back and we don't put ourselves forward. So I wrote some things down with the I, because the power of I. So I was like, why did I call it the power of I?
Yeah, please do. Let us hear.
Well, I looked at this yesterday. I've got, this is our work, little bits of paper. It comes to me sometimes at 2:00 in the morning. But this was, there is no I in must, should, have to, got to, need to, always, never, on, and every. So we generalise. And if we find our I in those, we get individuality, integrity, importance, emotions, clarity, humanity, compassion, and ownership. They're the ones that have an I in them.
I like that. And do you know what strikes me about those words is that first set of words, they're very absolute. They're black and white.
Yes.
They're a very all or nothing which actually, life isn't all or nothing. There's lots of grey, there's lots of dynamic, there's lots of in between. And then the second set of words, they have more of a tapestry to them.
Yeah. Yeah, you can, you're not defined by you have to do this and you have to fit in with that. I spent years trying to fit in, trying to be what I believed I should be, trying to have what I believed I should have.
Yeah.
And we hit stages in our lives, whether it be 21, 30, 35, 40, there'll be times in our lives where this perception becomes brighter. Yeah, where it's like, oh, I've hit 30 now, I should have a job, I should have a house, I should have children, I should be married, I should have a relationship, I should be able to do, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
The biggest tool that I will bring throughout all 5 sessions is a great big pause button. And it is my go-to call. And if I catch myself I press pause. So do I have to? Do I want to? That's different. It weighs different.
So it sounds like you're talking a bit about contentment there.
Oh, contentment is found within us, but we look for it outside.
I like that.
If I tick this box and tick that box and tick that box, I get to feel contented. Oh, no, if you find your, so in session 1, we're looking about what's your makeup, and session 1 came about. It's quite funny. I remember as a child getting journals or albums, like kiddies' albums, used to annuals.
Mm-hmm.
And in the front, it said, "This book belonged to."
Yeah.
You remember that? And it was like, gosh. And immediately I started thinking about it. I took it back and I was like, I wasn't scared to say what I liked, what I didn't like. I was willing to go, yeah, this book belongs to Maria Ganderton of such and such. And I like the Police. And I've got a crush on Sting. And I like the colour blue. And but we kind of forget those things.
And
it's about reawakening them. And then with the ownership is looking at how much effort are we putting in ourselves to bring those things that make us happy into our lives.
Lovely.
If it's really important to you to have friends around, but and I know during COVID it's been really hard, but you're not putting effort into to bring them into your life. I know I don't particularly like technology, but it was like, well, if these are important to me, what am I willing to do to be able to keep that connection going?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So kind of doing things that that meet the things that are important. So you're talking like you talked earlier about doing, the behavioural side of it rather than that sort of more sort of thinking, oh, I should have this, but no, we're going to look at actually what am I doing for this.
And is the should only your perception of what society would have you have?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it changes.
Yeah.
In session 2, it's awakening consciousness, and that's understanding what behaviour is and recognising the difference between habits and conscious choices.
Nice.
And the power that a conscious choice gives you and the freedom that a conscious choice can give you.
So we've just had another comment pop up just saying, actually, I'm going to flash this up on the screen, I think, because it's quite nice. Let's see. So it says, society puts so much pressure on us to achieve these things. Really listen to ourselves and decide what we want. I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah. on that, so do you see where it's like society puts this pressure on us? No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I know that might be, we put our pressure on ourselves to conform to what society wants.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so society puts it out there, and we're looking and we're observing that, and um, like you say, it's like when we then own it and go, actually, this is what is important to us, then we're no longer under that pressure. We're then living our own lives rather than living the
Mm.
life that we've been living under.
And I like what Francesca said at the bottom
Yeah,
of that, where she says, we have our own rhythms,
yeah.
and owe it to ourselves to fulfill that. Yeah.
Don't fit in with others' expectations, but don't fit in with our own.
Mm,
We
mm,
have preconceived ideas of how things should be that we don't realise we're doing.
mm, mm.
And if we don't meet that expectation of ourselves, we're so quick to write it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that, yeah?
Yeah. And Francesca's saying, that yes, we put that pressure on ourselves. That
Yeah,
comes from outside influences, and we grow up in this situation where um, we're almost coerced into this kind of ideology, and then we turn that inward. And I think that, I mean, I'm ad-libbing on what Francesca's actually written, but I think that's
yeah,
what's meant there.
yeah. So by literally pressing that pause button and going, actually, what's my part in this? What
Yeah,
part am I willing and wanting to play in this?
yeah, and doing that for ourselves.
Yeah, no,
Mm,
yeah, most definitely.
nice. Yeah.
Most definitely.
So, to kind of wrap up our sessions there, I just want to ask you first of all, is there anything that people need to prepare or need to bring to your sessions? You spoke about kind of committing to the 5 weeks. This is a full course. It's not something to kind of drop in and out of. But do people need to do anything beforehand, bring anything to the session, or just themselves?
As I was saying to you earlier, it would be really nice if you put yourself aside a book, an exercise book. So it doesn't have to be fancy, or it could be bits of paper that you staple together,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
something for you. Because I'm not. I was saying to Sarah that I'm not going to be doing lots of worksheets.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't. I'm going to be. I'm going to be demonstrating some tools and some activities that will awaken us. But it's your journey over the next 5 weeks. So I really want you to be able to have a space where you can plot that journey your way.
Yeah.
Um, so that would be really nice. But and then again, just something to write on bits of paper. As you saw, my notes come on that.
Cool.
There'll be a bit of paper. So there's nothing you have to have. But if you can over the next week, we start next Saturday. So if over the next week you could look out for maybe there's an old exercise book you had, and just give it to yourself. And that will be your place, because there'll be some reflection. There's be some observations for you to do. So as I said, it's a 30-day program at your pace, but with a minimum commitment of it's simply like 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And that's to demonstrate that if we give ourselves just 10 minutes a day, it can make so much difference.
Mm, mm.
So it's not about big essays or having to write. And whatever you write between that time, session to session, is yours.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, so no one's monitoring it, but it is experiential learning. So the more you're willing to bring into the group, the more you can get back, and we always learn from each other,
Yeah.
always.
Nice. Wonderful. And so just to recap with everyone out there, this is a 5 week course starting on Saturday next week at 10 a.m. As with all of the courses that we're putting on the creative learning platform. There is a private forum group as well, so you can talk and meet with people outside of the live Zoom sessions. This course is one that builds on each session, so it's not a drop-in. And for that reason, we're not taking recordings that people could watch afterwards. It's very much an attend the live session course. And it sounds like it's going to be a really, really worthwhile experience, a real kind of group journey to take together, and for yourself with that reflective journal. Yeah, it sounds great. So thank you very much for joining
Thank you,
me.
Sarah. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
fantastic. Great, and thank you for you guys out there who gave us some great feedback in the chat. It's always nice to have that communication with the audience up here on the live stream. So yeah, brilliant session today. And I'm going to say goodbye. We are back at some point next week. Me and Carolyn. Carolyn couldn't make it today, but she will be back with me next time, and we will see you then.
Smashing. See you. Bye bye.